You said that you left and you were fearless. A lot of my female colleagues, we talk a lot about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that? And how did you become fearless?
I want to say I don't live in a state of fearlessness. And I really struggle with talking about imposter syndrome because, on the one hand, I know from all the research it exists. I don't like naming things like imposter syndrome because we give names to things when it has to do with women. But I also acknowledge it exists. And just sort of one of the things I try to do is normalize it. And women have and all the research, we have a wider range of feelings around how we approach the workplace. And all the research says that we will want to be overqualified before we go for something. And men approach that differently. And that's societal conditioning. It is the real lived experience of women in the workplace where it has been not safe and it doesn't get you ahead to act in certain ways. And one of the things I do all the time is just normalize that. I mean, fear has driven my whole career. At some level, and that wanting to be, and I think going off and going to Australia was like, I've got nothing to lose. The worst thing I thought could have, getting on a plane by myself with 2 suitcases, not knowing anyone, driven by the sort of passion and desire. And so there's a level of fear in that of when we started the company, I didn't want to be the person to mess up Reese Witherspoon's company. Like it's a positive driver. And I spent a lot of time the last 20 years. It's a real productive fear right now. And it's less fear. And, it's a much more sort of grounded, sort of passionate energy. Got onto my front foot and off my back foot around it. It's noticing my own energy with curiosity and not judgment. I think one of the things women, we feel this energy and then we go into judgment, like, you must not be ready, you must not. And versus the feeling of like, oh, here's that little thing. Noticing, am I prepared enough? Am I prepared enough? Is that why I'm nervous or anxious? Or is it? So the more, and I say this to early and mid-career women, the more you can do therapy, do coaching, get a peer group of your friends that you really safely talk to, even if it's one friend that you can talk those very normal feelings through. And it might be what we think of as imposter syndrome. And it might be, if you're a growth mindset person and you're putting yourself into constant growth challenges, you will absolutely feel that I'm out over my skis. It's just our reaction to it and how we're socialized to think about it and deal with it. And if you're not frightening the shit out of yourself a few times a year because you're walking into a room and doing something you've never done before, you're not on a growth mindset path. And so I normalize those feelings of lack of confidence or anxiety or do I have it? I normalize those. And if you're an ambitious person and you're looking to grow, they're very, very normal if you're not feeling them. And let's not give it a label. Even though I just acknowledge that all exists and it's helpful to talk about it, I just look at it and say and encourage women in that to not judge themselves going, oh my God, here am I. Just really get connected with your own intuition and your own sense of like, these are the facts on the ground that I've got to deal with. And I have a choice whether to go deal with them in a way that works to my advantage or not. And it's taken me a long time to get to that mindset, I guess.